Hello my wonderful beautiful people of the internet, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm very excited to do the Booktube Newbie Tag. I wanted to do this tag for a little bit of time now, so I had the questions here on my phone. I'm not necessarily going to make just YouTube booktube videos on here, but nonetheless I thought it would be fun to do this tag. So there are a few questions here that I am going to answer. So the first one is, why did you start this channel? So I started it to just give me something creative to do, and I also love books and I love the community, and also just to build the audience. I think just kind of having a goal, and yeah, just a creative outlet more than anything is in sharing my passion. So what are some fun and unique things you could bring to YouTube? Well, I don't know if this is fun or unique, but I do read a wide variety of books, and I have a few videos planned that are kind of taking some time, but that's totally okay. So yeah, I think I'm just a very creative person, so I will be making some videos soon. Also, I just think like my personality is kind of fun. What are you most excited for this new channel? Why are you the most excited about this channel? I think just having a place and like building my catalog of videos, I think is something I'm actually very excited about. And just like, I actually really enjoy like editing. I don't do a lot of fancy stuff, but just kind of like sometimes if I run into an issue with the editing, like I problem solve, and just like finding new books. And I have like my certain people that I watch, and just, I don't know, hearing the books and being able to have conversations with people is really, really nice. By the way, I forgot to mention, it's like 100 degrees outside where I live, so I need to get the air conditioning on. So if you hear that, my apologies, but I'm also like not turning it off. Why do you love reading? Well, I definitely just, so I've been a reader for as long as I can remember. Like my mom and my dad would take me to the library as a young girl, and I think it's just like you get to hear so many different stories, and like the creative process, and just the different authors and their voices and how they write, and just in expanding your world. I think that that's something something really, really, just the learning is like really, really great. And you just, otherwise you might not like know like, oh, this person's from this world, this person's from that. Oh my gosh, sorry. Something just fell out of my closet. I was like, I thought my dog was in there, and I was like, what? Anyways, so the earliest series I can remember reading is the Magic Treehouse series. So if we're gonna get like really into it, that was like the first series I remember reading. Then Nancy Drew was another one that really got me into reading. And then like Narnia and those kinds of books as I got a little bit older. Narnia, definitely. I think as I talk to people, I think Narnia is kind of underrated. And I know if I ever have children, I'm definitely going to be reading them Narnia. The next question is, what would you ask your favorite booktubers? Like if you could ask, like for example, one of my favorite booktubers is Books and Lala. The first thing that came to mind for me is like what your schedule is, especially if you have other things like another job, or like what works for you as far as like after you film and like editing and just coming up with ideas, just basically producing and getting your videos out there. What's your process, and how do you deal with like that whole aspect of YouTube? Because sometimes I've had actually a lot of ideas, and I am like, oh, when do I have the time to do that, and things like that. So I definitely want to ask them like what your schedule is. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? So for me, I think just like the idea that, you know, you see a lot of these booktubers and they all read like kind of the same genre. And I think a lot of people think, oh, I have to read this certain thing to be successful or like have an audience or whatever. I think at the end of the day, you can read whatever you want, and you can have a successful YouTube channel. In fact, sometimes that might attract people to your channel. But I think there's that pressure of like for me, I tried getting into like Cassandra Clare, for example. And if you read the Cassandra Clare, 100%, that's awesome. But her and Sarah J. Maas and a lot of those really popular books, for me, I just couldn't get into. So I think just finding your area of literary, what you love to read, and just sticking to that, I think, and not feeling pressure from other people to, oh, well, this is what everybody's talking about, so I gotta read this. Because no, you could read what you want to read. When did you start reading? So pretty much as early as I can remember. Like I mentioned, my parents from the earliest age would take me to the library, and I grew up reading. And I've always loved reading since I've been pretty young, to be honest. Next question is, what kind of books do you like to read? So this is what I tell people a lot more than not. I tend to judge a book by its description or like plot, not so much, oh, this is sci-fi, this is fantasy. I read a little bit of everything. The only genre that I don't get into is like paranormal, like the werewolf, the vampire thing. That sometimes I tried, but I have not gone into, oops, sorry, that too much. I would have to say my go-to genre would have to be historical fiction. I have a lot, and that's one of the videos I'm planning on making. Some of my favorite World War II historical fiction and my non-World War II historical fiction. I really like getting into that. I've also really been reading a lot of nonfiction recently, like psychology and like a certain type of self-help book. I'm not like super like, I don't have a lot of self-help that I read, but certain ones that I've read recently have been really good. I'm also planning on possibly making a video about that. I mean, yeah, and then I'm slowly also getting into fantasy, slowly but surely, and sci-fi. I recently read Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick, and also The Lathe of Heaven by Ursula K. Guin, which are two books that I really enjoyed. So yeah, I'm kind of just, I like to dabble in a little bit of everything. And then the last question is, what does your book collection look like? So my shelves are kind of a work in progress. These are some books. This is all a TBR shelf, but I do plan on like kind of mixing everything around and doing a bookshelf tour because, oh gosh, do I want to show it? I have a ladder there, and I'm like, I definitely want to like make videos about my bookshelf because I have it somewhat organized, but like it doesn't look organized, so it's kind of like I'm not wanting to like fully do a whole tour yet. But yeah, my book collection is pretty big, hence why I have these shelves. But yes, that was the last question in this tag. I am so glad I did it. I thought it was a lot of fun. If you like this video and you're interested in seeing my upcoming videos, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I will talk to you later. Bye!